A lot of people ask me, like, when did you start writing poetry? And I never really have an answer. Poetry for me, as other creative mediums, is for other people. It's like a way for me to release my feelings whenever I get angry about something, or, you know, sometimes us youth are unheard in, you know, the hustle and bustles of the world. So I turn to my pen and paper. So the first piece I'm going to be sharing with you guys is a motivational type of piece that I wrote 3 years ago. And you guys will be able to see the journey of my craft, or even what I was thinking back then compared to what I'm thinking now. So this piece is called Be Not a Generation of Sleep, okay? Without further ado. Everybody wants to be something, and everybody wants to make it. See, we're so caught up in trying to be that sometimes we even begin to fake it. Man, Dr. King wasn't the only person dreaming, I think to myself as I walk past a generation still sleeping. Aspirations and goals, those were the norms back a day, but I can't help to think back a day was backwards for those living it as though it was today. Wait, sorry, did I lose you guys? Did I lose you? Taste of my own medicine as I show you how I confuse me just to confuse you. See, the best way to act is to truly believe it. But I'm afraid that my generation is still acting in their dreams as they stay sleeping. See, sometimes I feel like I'm an old person trapped in this new body, kind of reincarnated. So to test my hypothesis, I've come to the summation to sit next to my grandma, see if me and her are alike, but we're more further apart than this darkness that looks like light. And as she tells me, she was reared at 14 and education were for wealthy clans who had rights, and all of this is normal to her, so how can I blame her? But I blame you for your ineptness to do, because high key, which is unlikely, which is unlike me, sometimes I forget to. And maybe I'm too philosophical, or maybe I'm too preachy, but that could be the divine that I call my mind leading me to see beyond these rose-tinted glasses that I call my hypocrisy. See, it's all easier said than being done true. But when millennials and snowflakes and soft are some of the words held at my generation, because sometimes my generation is deemed inept, we forget the power that we have. We neglect the duty that we have. See, the earth that we're living in would all be better if every young person can realize the greatness within them, then the earth would be on to better things. No more settling. There's a power within you that, if released, will truly be a reckoning. Let's talk physics for a second. Darkness can't exist without light, and light can only be there when something's shining, right? So interlinked and interwoven, sometimes we need reminding that it's all good to dream beyond our counterparts as we count the parts of our imagination, innovation, as to how to mold and sculpt the world for future generations, sustaining ourselves. But the wolf comes in sheep's clothing, my friend. To dream, you have to be still and asleep, my friends. So be not a generation of still and sunken sleep, but a generation of doers. Be not a generation so caught up in dreaming that they forget to wake. Be not a generation so caught up in dreaming that they forget to wake. So that was part one, guys. The next piece that I'm going to do for you guys is a bit of a personal one. It's a piece that I've done 2 years ago, so not 3 years ago, 2 years ago maybe. And it's about some of the hurdles that we face in life as young people. You know, growth is not linear. We go through different cycles of growth, we meet different things, and sometimes that can be within friendships or not. So quick question, has anybody got their heart broke? Yeah. It's okay, man, you can say so, you guys can share. A lot of people think about that when it comes to relationships, but sometimes friendships break your heart too. And I think there's a power or maturity in realizing when it's time to let go. Without further ado, I pull up, you jump in. We pick up right where we left and we start jamming somewhere to nowhere, yamming on some Roscoe's parked up in your car. We laugh, we talk, we reminisce things, we miss memories we once recall. See, we're on different journeys now, and it's sad because our convos don't hit as they used to now. I listen to you talk about your visions and dreams, but I mentally walk. See, I tried to listen and be that good friend once again who cares, but that part of me died, no longer cares or dares to fill your cup up when you watch mine half empty. To pick you up with my hands when you watch me with no energy, to walk my own path. I still gave you more than half. I loved you like my sister, but distance is now what I ask. See, people, friendships too can break your heart. Life comes fast, they say, but I still pray that you hit all your milestones. I pray that you sing through life hitting your high notes. I pray you remain the same wild rose I met and never lose focus on what you're destined for. But I know different paths we walk and different transcripts, different verses of life we go through. This high road. Maturity is knowing when to let go. This is the last time I'll pull up. The last time you'll jump in. The last time we're somewhere to nowhere. The last time we're jamming. The last time we're whining. The last time we're smiling. The last time I'll see a sister for a sister. Peace in distance is now what I'm finding. Life is truly striking. Last time I'll see a sister for a sister. I'm finding peace in some distance. Life is truly striking. Thank you guys. That was fun. Poetry, I feel like you can express yourself or feelings in a way that I personally wouldn't be able to articulate just in speaking, but it flows through me through poetry, so I'm glad for that medium. The last piece is a bit different. It's one that I've written recently. It's about the topic of FGM. Sorry, I just noticed my brother in the back. This is the last piece that I wrote this about FGM, and I remember I was having a phone call with some people back in Somalia. I'm very closely connected with Somalia. But there's issues there that young people go through over there that they're trying to tackle, which might be different to here. And one of them is FGM. So I'll trigger warning to anybody that might have gone through that. If you need some time and space, I won't hold you to it. Feel free. And the pieces will be in Somali, so I'll translate as we go along. And it's my most theatrical piece, so just click if you're feeling it, guys, okay? Why? When it is we women who hold life right between our thighs, do they choose to vandalize the very vessel and gates in which they have arrived, cutting us open and closed with aims to puritize, opening and closing, opening and sewing, opening, closing, sewing, removing, disposing, controlling. The other half, the very part that they come from, the same women that made them, the same women that removed the shackles when the colonizers chained them, the same women whose bodies embody the songs and melodies that make them Bismillahi sallallahu alayhi ya. Bismillah sallallahu alayhi ya. The same women that when the fighter jets arrived in 91, disguised as international peacekeepers, picked up the guns too, shielded you with your bodies and strengthened your morals with words heard too by the enemies, picked up and stood by them and Anagubawantagarna, we fight too. Or when the British intruded in the 1880s, they stood in defiance as you did. The longest anti-colonial movement in the history books prove this. It was your women who stood there and said, before you take our lands, you must be stupid. Or when the fires engulfed the markets, remnants of 91's darkness, it was women who called for calmness. Food brought to the front lines in carts, women turning into firefighters, fighting fire at the hearts, and when they labeled us pirates and hunted us down in our own waters and land, it was your women who refused for you to drown, bellowing before you take our men and sons, you will see 6 feet below the ground. And when you picked up the guns and pointed it at each other, it was mothers caught between clan lines. Family lines turned into enemy lines as she tried to protect her sons and her brothers from one another, trying to find peace between her family as bullets and mortars rained down on Somalia so suddenly. And after it all, it was women who nurtured the wound, with no one to nurture hers, saying, Mar'oon, Mar'oon, Barnabat Arki, Mar'oon, one day we shall see peace together, one day. And as they put the burdens of patience on their back, as they fled their nation, it was women who still held it down in the West and made sure that your children got the best. Even if that meant that they had a little rest or they felt like a little mess, and part of them went as their children came back home speaking Somali less by less. So why? Why do you choose to vandalize? When it is we women who mold you, who love you, who make you, who shape you, so why? Why do you stab us in the back with your self-righteous knives? When those little girls that you traumatize are our future, our foundations that we must prioritize, so why? 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 Thank you, guys.